Hey guys, Dav here, back with another core unit for Total War Warhammer 2, and today we're talking about a community favorite, the Chill of Sontar. I guess Hydras in general, but more specifically the Chill. Very good regiment renowned for the Dark Elves, and just a great unit in general. So what does it bring to the table? Obviously, you know, regeneration, relatively slow, but the Frostbite certainly does help. Decent damage. Let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit as Dark Elves Beastmen. We've got straight to the fun. Malekith leading the way with a Feral Manticore, got some Dark Riders and Harpies, currently getting countercharged by some Centaurs, one of which has already gotten pretty well pounded. More Harpies over here. Obviously, Morgard leading the way. This is Happy Puppy versus Legatus from my Land of the Living tournament this last weekend, one of the preliminary round games. We've got Butchers of Kalgengard as well, Bray Shaman Lore of Wild, it looks like Ungor Raiders with Spearmen. Yeah, Ungor Spearmen up front with shields, I believe. Yeah, the Destroyers of Drakwold are here. Regular Minotaurs with shields in the back, some more Centaurs. As for the rest of the Dark Elves, some more mobile support, which I like quite a bit for a Chill of Sontar build. Chill of Sontar's main downside, like I said, is it's relatively slow, vulnerable to missiles, so having all this mobile disruption, Sisters of Slaughter 2, definitely a great unit. Planning an episode about them soon as well. Really nice Soul Stealer from Malekith, though, here. And the Chill's going to come in and get a great breath as well. And all of this burst damage, it looks like actually the Soul Stealer was cancelled there. But that breath attack basically not one-shot at those Poison Warhounds, but did about half their HP in damage and led to them getting terrified. Here, looks like the Silencious Harvesters get bogged up on a unit of Ungor Spearman Herd. And a really nice Brain Burster there to go after. Sisters of Slaughter, definitely a good high-value target. But here comes the Soul Stealer. That is going to do a lot of damage to these Minotaurs and the Centaurs here as well. The Butchers of Kalkengard, they do have regeneration, so they can help resist some of that damage. Happy Puppy does a great job of disengaging here, pulling them back to try and save those unit models. Go ahead and get a rear charge into these Harpies, see if you can terrify them away. Currently, though, the Harpies are absolutely tearing up and at least holding down these Ungor Raiders. Celestial Harvesters managed to disengage, and they're going to come clean up there as well. That's very important for keeping the Chill going. Is currently supporting the Manticore here. We've also got a Word of Pain, looks like, from the Celestial Harvesters or Malekith, I'm not sure, directly targeting the Butchers of Kalkengard. Great unit to use that on. They have a very high damage potential. They are pretty tanky as well, and Happy Puppy does a great job once again of disengaging there. She's going to be just in general doing a great job of trying to keep the Butchers of Kalkengard models alive as much as she can. They have taken a lot of damage already, though. Ungor Spearman Herd come back to screen out against the Silencious Harvesters. That's a little bit late. I mean, one of these units of Ungor Raiders is still alive, but they're still being tied down here, which is very important. Spawn and Minotaur switching over to try and keep the Chill of Sontar bogged down, but in the meantime, the Manticore and the Spears have been working in tandem with the Harpies to try and take out all the Centaurs and Hounds. And it's been working pretty well. You know, the Chill being able to debuff the speed there and just generally provide terror against the Beastmen has been very strong. Here you can see as well the Silencious Harvesters pushing up and back, but I mean, obviously Beastmen do have a couple Spawn Summons active, which gives them a little bit of an inflation on the balance of power, but still very dangerous, especially as the Chill suddenly finds itself in a bad situation. Morgard actually will fight the Chill pretty well, since he has good weapon strength and also has regeneration. Malekith's going to come land on him there. But the Spawn actually, again, have decent weapon strength. They're here with the Minotaurs, and this is my preferred strategy, is to try and mash this guy with Monstrous Infantry. Now, obviously, there were a few Monstrous Infantry here, but they've been kind of ping-ponging around, providing support to different areas, like these Butchers of Kalkengard, down to 8 unit models now, once again, cycling back out to recover their HP. As the Ungor Spears kind of start to give out a little bit there. Celestial Harvesters have taken quite a bit of damage, though. And the Soul Stealer manages to be largely avoided here, I think. I'm not sure what exactly that hit, but those Minotaurs don't seem to be tagged by the effect, so I don't know if that actually hit anything there. And again, Morgard matched up against the Hydra with support is actually pretty good. Having like the Centaurs and especially the Chaos Spawn plus Morgard fighting is decent. I mean, he'll get knocked around a bunch, but he can tank the damage relatively well. He also has Poison, which can poison the Hydra and debuff its stats a little bit. Tire it out faster, and yeah, he hits reasonably hard as well. The Bray Shaman, unfortunately, gets stepped on by Malekith here, and there were no summons, I believe. It was just, yeah, Brain Burster and Mantle of Garok, which is a pretty strong spell. I I didn't exactly see where it was used, if it was used here, but at this point, with most of the support gone and the spawn summons offline, Morgr starts to get singled out, which is definitely bad time for him. I mean, he still might even survive this, but looks like the Butchers are pretty much gone. This last unit of Ungor Spears, Destroyers of Drakvald, actually holding out very well, surrounded by Sisters, and Dread Spears there, just barely giving out. They've been holding that flank the entire time. And Morgr actually gets charged by the Manticore, but he's going to slap it down and then immediately get bullied by the Chill. The Chill is kind of the deciding factor in this game, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that the Harpies were able to shut down Ungor Raiders, which would have been the best counter. Hydras do have only 60 armor, which is not really good enough, especially against high volume units like the excuse me, the Ungor Raiders. It does have missile resistance and regeneration as well, so you would think it wouldn't be that effective, but in fact, I mean, the high volume is the main thing. But the Harpies were able to at least temporarily shut that down, and then help the cavalry's able to help finish it off here. The Centaurs have been trying their best to sweep around the backline and protect, but given that they were tied up in this mobile engagement over here, I mean, they did a lot of damage to the Manticore, did a lot of damage to the Ungor Spears in various places, but Dread Spears rather. But the sort of the Hydra and the Manticore all fighting together over there was really nasty, and of course, like I said, the Harpies and everything ended up working out pretty well. Beastmen are not done yet, though. They're going to continue fighting here. Got these Minotaurs matched up with the Chill. And, again, using the spawn of, like, the mass, sorry, of Spawn and Minotaurs to hold back the Chill, especially Spawn, given that they're unbreakable, so they can't get terrified by the Chill. And the poison is also very strong. Like I mentioned, from Morgr, the Spawn also do poison damage, right? So, very nice there. Yeah, Beastmen trying to make a push here. They do have a nice concentration of units, and as Morgr starts to recover HP, this balance of power will heavily shift back. And if you look at the actual units on the battlefield, like, there's quite a bit of resources left here in Malekith and the Chill, but they've taken a lot of damage. Nice Frost Breath in the late game, though. Finishing off those Minotaurs and the Hounds there, leading to them both routing. That leaves Morgr all alone, so it's basically zero risk to come in and finish him off. Malekith and the Chill are going to do just that. So, great game to both players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. Yeah, Happy Puppies build's pretty solid. I like Centaurs quite a bit. I think this is maybe a little bit too many, given that you have the Hounds as well. I think, honestly, if you were to cut one of them, you could even just take an extra caster. Lore of Beasts, I would say, with a Manticore summon only. That allows you to kind of respond to the Dark Elves Manticore with your own, support that mobile engagement with your own terror and single entity power and everything. Would have maybe worked out a little bit better, but yeah, overall it still was pretty solid given the lack of sort of single entity stopping power here. It did show through in the end, though. Malekith and the Chill of Sontar being the only one left. How about those Sisters of Slaughter as well? 274 kills. A great unit in a number of matchups. 91 for the Slaanesha's Harvesters as well. 93 for the Harpies, and 98 for the Chill. 40 for that Manticore. Pretty solid. The Centaurs, I think one of them picked up an XP Chevron in the late game. And I mean, the Minotaurs did some pretty good work. The Ungor Raiders getting shut down was definitely pretty tough. And besides the Destroyers of Drakvald, these Ungor Spears kind of got ran over a little bit there. That, it is the role of the low-tier spears just to get run over and maybe do a little bit of anti-large damage in the process, but it's an interesting one, definitely. The Chill, just to kind of round things out here. In builds where you're taking the Chill, and I like what Legatus did there in having a lot of mobile units to tie down range, right? Because, as I mentioned several times already, that's the main drawback here. What am I looking for? Dark Elves stuff. And you've got the Chill of Sontar coming in at 2,000. Again, the regeneration and the missile resistance is great. This Frost Breath does also apply Frostbite, I believe. So you can use that to slow down units, of course, and the healing proc means it's a pretty tanky monster. It does have quite a bit of HP, 7,000 base, and then, of course, the healing cap. On top of that, leadership is not amazing. It's certainly better than the base Hydra, obviously, given the Regiment of Renown status. So you can keep this thing fighting, but you do have to be careful given its kind of slow responsiveness in terms of animations and movement. It's a little bit like the Hell Pit, not quite as bad as the Hell Pit, but it's very, very good and can be a centerpiece unit to a number of builds. I especially like Dark Riders because they have a pretty solid charge bonus, 40 charge, right? And they're cheap, so you can take a bunch of them. And then go after enemy skirmishers there. Obviously, we saw Harpies can do very well, even sporting with like Chariots or something. One more thing as well, I'm probably going to do a video about this guy himself eventually, but you want to be a meme and not take Meta Malekith, you can take the High Beastmaster. He's also a very solid option as well. This Whiplash in particular gives a little bit better charge speed and charge bonus, which the charge bonus doesn't matter a ton. It does help a bit, but the charge speed can help you catch units in certain situations. And also, obviously, the weapon damage increase is absolutely massive. And Chill of Sontar, pretty good weapon strength at 440. Always going to be a good time there. Not to mention, of course, you can support with Stand Your Ground, which will give more melee defense and leadership, both of which, Chill of Sontar, it's not necessarily its strongest suit. And of course, the Frostbite plus Tormentor Sword means you can very much keep your opponent pinned in place, or at least slowed down enough that the Chill can catch up to it. So definitely a great option for the Dark Elves. Has a place in many matchups and in many builds as well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.